Hello, parents of AP Computer Science principal students. I thought since we are not having an official back to school night this year due to at-home learning and all of that, I would just record a quick little video and go over just a few of the things that I would typically go over with you at back to school night. I am teaching from my classroom here, Lab 225 at Fairview High School. It's very different. There aren't any students sitting in front of me. I'm staring out into an empty room. So I certainly hope that at some point we can fill this classroom up with students, or at least have groups of students here at a time. But we'll see how everything goes. Oftentimes I take a little bit of time at back to school night to talk about why computer science classes, including AP Computer Science Principles, can be difficult classes for students. This is not the kind of class where I tell the students how to do something and give them exact instructions on the steps that they need to follow, and then they turn around and go through that exact set of steps with maybe minor little tweaks and sort of get the work done. Instead, this is a class where students really have to think and figure out how to do something. A lot of times we are designing an algorithm to solve a problem or to accomplish a task, and then we are coding that algorithm in a programming language, either Python or Snap, or both. And it may take one student longer to come up with that algorithm than another student. Or if I'm a student, one day I might come into class and have to come up with an algorithm to solve a problem, and it might just click with me. And I might be able to figure out what that algorithm is and code it in Snap very quickly. And I might come back 3 days later, and for whatever reason, maybe the algorithm the teacher wouldn't think is really that much harder, but it just doesn't click with me quite as quickly. And maybe I go down a few wrong paths before I get to the right path and I'm able to solve the problem. So it's not all that surprising to me when a student some days might not finish a particular lab during class when maybe another student does. It's also not that surprising to me when sometimes a student might just feel stuck. Like they reach this point and they're like, I've tried several things and I'm just not sure what to do. The thing to do is to A, never give up, keep on trying, but B, come and talk to me. Come to my virtual office hours. We can sit down and go through that lab together and get it figured out. If a student submits something and it isn't quite right, I will give them feedback, and they can always resubmit that work for up to full credit. I also allow quiz and test retakes. For me, a retake is almost more along the lines of test corrections, because they'll take the test or the quiz. If they don't do as well as they would like to, I will let them see which ones they got wrong, which ones they got right, what the correct answers are. If they want, they can come to my office hours and we can talk through those things. And then I allow them to retake the exact same test again, and I average the two scores together. I do not typically take off for late work. Why wouldn't I take off for late work? This is an AP class. It's a high school class. Deadlines are important, and all that is true. But because of some of the things that I mentioned earlier, how it can take perhaps a significantly longer period of time to work through one lab compared to another, or for one student compared to another, I think that is a reason to be fairly lenient on due dates, especially during the learning phase when students are first starting to learn and practice algorithmic thinking and coding. Also, this is an elective class. Even though it's an AP class, it's not an easy elective class. A student could sign up for some courses which they would probably find to be a pretty easy A. You show up in class, you do some things in class, and as long as you're participating and getting things done, you can get a good grade. This is a harder class than that. So I'm asking students to take an elective class that is difficult. I would love for computer science to be a required class for all high school students, but it's not. It's an elective class, and a lot of students take some very difficult, work-intensive courses at Fairview in math, in science, in social studies, in language arts, in foreign language, all these things. And so I feel that since this is an elective class, something has to give. And sometimes for some students, they're just going to need a little bit of extra time to complete an assignment. On the other hand, this is not the type of class that you want to get very far behind in. Because if you have, 3 assignments to do because you got behind and didn't turn them in on time, this isn't the kind of class where you can just do kind of a 70% job and get it in and do sort of an okay job. Because if you don't sort of get it correct enough in a computer science class for a coding lab, it might just not do anything. It might not work at all. You could put in a certain amount of time and have nothing to show for it. You've really got to go through the process. You've got to go through the thinking. You've got to design the algorithm and code it to a level that works and does the right thing. And that's going to take some time. So if a student does find themselves falling behind, I really encourage them to come see me during my office hours, my virtual office hours this year, and we can work through the lab together. Labs are not tests. They are not supposed to be testing what the student already knows. So it is perfectly acceptable for them to come in, sit down with me, and we can work through the lab together. They could also work through it with another student, or if they have someone else available to them that knows coding and can sit down and help them out, that's fine too on a lab or an assignment. But I really try to make myself available for that. My office hours are every day from 2 o'clock, or Tuesday through Friday, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And if that doesn't work for a particular student, we can always work out a different time as well. This is an AP test. That means we have an AP exam at the end of the year in May. And for this class, they also submit a project to the College Board in April. Now, this is only for students that are taking the second semester of AP Computer Science Principles in January or after. This class, students are allowed to take the first semester 1 year, and then if they want, to take the second semester the following year. And I have quite a few freshmen that do that because it's hard to get a full year-long elective into the freshman schedule because of PE requirements and other things. So if that's the situation that your student is in, and they're taking second semester next school year, then this would really apply to them the next school year. But for students that are taking the exam this May, or taking the second semester of this class, they need to register with the College Board now. And I've given them instructions on how to do that. We went through the process in class, but there may be a handful of students that weren't able to go through that process. By signing up with the College Board for something called AP Classroom, they will then be allowed to sign up for the exam. They will be allowed to submit the project. They will get access to a lot of study materials and curriculum materials that would help them prepare even more for the AP exam and things like that. The exam is $95, and we will be students will be paying for the exam in October. I believe the deadline is October 31st. So I'll be getting more information out about that. There are scholarships available, I think primarily for students that are on free and reduced lunch. But if you have a financial concern, please feel free to reach out either to me, to your student's counselor, or to Mr. Weber, Mr. Chris Weber, who is the Honors AP IB coordinator here at Fairview High School. Chris Weber is his name. This year, you can sign up for the AP exam, and if for some reason something goes wrong, maybe with COVID-19 or something technological happens at your house and you just don't feel like the student was able to put in their full effort at school, and you decide maybe taking the AP exam isn't going to be the best idea, AP will actually refund your money. And typically, It is a requirement that all students that take second semester of this class take the AP exam. I still would like all students to take the AP exam, but once you get into second semester, if you feel like there were extenuating circumstances this year, you'll be allowed to back out. There won't be any penalty for that, either financial on the College Board side or anything on the Fairview High School side. So we would like to get everybody signed up for the exam in October. I think that's all I want to say in this video. I will put a few more things and include it in the message that I send along. But again, it's so nice to have your students in class. I hope to be able to, at some point during this school year, meet them in person. And if you ever have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.